Hello? Oh, global warming. Let's see how this goes. I'm starting to get a bit tired. I probably should take a summer vacation. Anyway, I guess firstly, of course, one has to. Mm, it's starting to get a bit. Everything getting a bit tiring. Global warming, everyone. But then my deepest condolences to Istanbul and and you know and this continuous string of terror attacks to all the Turkish people. I'm so sorry, so very sorry. Um, Again, it's very funny that you have to. For example, I personally I'm a great friend of Constantinople. So I mean, I'm not particularly happy that there is such a thing as Istanbul. Uh, there are not many people in the world that I loathe more than Tayyip Erdogan, but there are, but not many. Uh, but of course, nothing, none of this has anything to do with the Turkish people, and one has to be so sorry with these continuous, these continuous terror attacks, and the effect that it's having on people who make their living on tourism and their economy. I'm so sorry. And I don't know how many weeks it is since I last time said that that what should have been for a long time ago, what should have been done in the Middle East is everybody who doesn't belong there, all you Europeans and United Stations, wherever you are, drop whatever you're holding and get out. And they haven't, and and nothing has improved. And again, it's awful. It's horrifying. It's absolutely dreadful. But again, it's in a way it is not. Pretty much all of these terrorists that you see, they're just kids. Way under 30. They don't know anything about anything. Most of them boys. Don't know anything about life. Know anything about anything. They've just their lives have been crap, and their lives have been kept purposefully crap. It has been an official U.S. policy that you're not supposed to have peace and democracy in the Middle East. These are just stupid kids. These terrorists who their stupid deeds are just much more crazy and violent than, let's say, stupid and crazy kids in wherever in Iceland or Great Britain. You know, um, it's a colossal tragedy all around. Again, everybody's a victim except the blooming bloody billionaires you know, who make the money mostly in the United States. Um, I don't, I doubt very much that mankind is going to survive for very much longer. Oh boy. Anyway, my rant, official rant today is, and again, I have absolutely no expertise in this, but it is about the internet. The internet, in the lovely internet. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna exactly say, but first, allow me to point out that, of course, I love the internet as as an idea as it is. Of course, firstly, one has to say that I belong to that group of people who actually remember the world before the internet, and who, even though I use it, or many hours per day, I could live without it. If the internet were to crash, I'm one of those people who would survive it. Uh, um, but important. It has to be said that I still am so much for it that I can't tell you. I think it is one of the greatest things ever. Um, it is well, not only something I'm of course absolutely. I loathe the fact that YouTube was bought by Google, and those. I mean, it's absolutely insane. You're trying to watch something relaxing and then getting a commercial, and again, it's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't help that you have something. Something where after 5 seconds you can click something away. I don't want to watch this. Of course, I don't want to watch it. I mean, uh, I so hate that one got Google and got commercials to YouTube, but YouTube as an idea, original idea. Or whatever, Vimeo, whatever you want to take. Absolutely invaluable, and of course, Wikipedia, and and pretty much absolutely everything that has to do with changing information and ideas. And you might actually, considering truly, for example, the fact that the media in the United States, again, that has the by far the greatest army and most nuclear weapons in the world, that their media is controlled by giant corporations, and it's just simply full of crap, and simply does not tell the truth, and is completely controlled by billionaires. You get the idea that somewhat, but the immediate survival of the world is dependent on the fact that you have free internet, and even though they've tried so hard, the U.S. officials haven't, or these, or U.S. corporations haven't gotten their hands on its freedom, and for example, the people of the United States can actually get something resembling the truth if they can search for it, you know, from somewhere, uh, and uh, it starts to the internet. It's not just it just not, doesn't make us smarter, but it really it you start to get the idea that it may actually save us, if anything, if anything will. Uh, but then the and I guess the main reason for me doing this rant now is and actually wanting to do this, even though I don't have all the important information, and again, I have said that I don't think that the internet is all happy and chirpy. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to move, important stuff, something that isn't information, and change of ideas, to move banks and governments and whatever online, and people's personal information. I mean, it's pure madness, and it is it is unfortunate that something like that has not been somehow controlled. That the safety of governments and infrastructure and people's personal that has not been controlled. That has just been unleashed, because the internet is in no way is it safe. And moving a bank online, it's like carrying a safety box out to the street. No sense whatsoever. But the second and the main idea that why I wanted to do this rant is because one has come across. I can't talk of my own children because they're actually special. I mean, medically, not as being so much better than everybody else's kids, but but one has come across, or now I guess it's inevitable that one comes across people who've totally grown up online, and I have no idea whether that's a healthy thing. Um, it's a very strange idea. As I said, I've existed before the internet, and I use the internet. I love the internet, but it's just a tool. And the world, in a way, it is outside the internet. It is something that you can use, from the world, and it is not the world to me. And again, to everyone of my generation and a bit younger as well, we know how to get information from somewhere else as well, and how to trust something else as well, and how to entertain ourselves somewhere else as well. And it's like at some point they were talking about people who couldn't, who couldn't think of themselves. And there's at least in Europe they had a word, or the European culture had a word for this sort of a person who couldn't really do anything practical. But I mean you get this idea that you may have a terrible number of people who in a way like robots. If something happens to the internet, they cannot function anymore. And it is, of course, I don't know. It's not even. It's not really even a scary idea. I mean, it's just going to be pretty much. I mean, wouldn't it be just fun to watch as somebody who would survive? Who could function even if the internet would crash. But it's a strange, crazy idea. And again, it goes back to the fact that I've said, I think I've said it in some other rant as well. I found it absolutely ridiculous. I didn't even know that they had moved something like the electric grid into the internet, and some foreign government, if they want to, they could cut off some other some other countries' electricity. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, it's complete lunacy. In the same way that the fact that that there hasn't been an organized and intellectual effort to keep the internet as a tool. It's like they said about fire. It's a great servant, but a really poor master. You get the same sort of feeling that there should have been some control of how dependent a generation or part of a generation or part of society becomes of the internet. Anywho, I'll continue some other subject later. Bye.